The head is off and we've found an issue.
Actually, we found multiple issues and it could have been bloody disastrous.
Previously, you saw Paddy break down in the middle of New South Wales. Weeks later, we finally got the old girl home on the back of a trailer. Now came the moment we've been waiting for. Finding out what actually went wrong. Before we could tear into the engine, we still had to unpack the rest of our gear and spend several long days setting up the shed. Only then could the teardown finally begin.
Alright guys, we're about to lift the head off the old bastard. We'll let you guys know what we find. Let's get into it. Alright, up we go. Start with full pressure, I'll just go slow. Keep going. Keep going. Whoops. There we go. She popped. So I'm going to pull this over this way a little bit. Ejector lights, alright, go up. Alright, you go through, Bill. There you go. It's a heavy bastard. Heavy bastard. Oh yeah, look at the water. Put the bolts up here so we don't.
And this is what we discovered after removing the head.
So guys, as you know, we're in the process of cleaning this head up. And what we have noticed, which is a point of concern, we're not really sure, we'll be running this into a machine shop to get the actual length. If we come in close here, you'll see these indentations are actually finger mark deep. So I can actually feel it with my fingernail. The other thing that we just noticed is if we come in close on this valve on the number 1 cylinder, you can see a nice indentation. So something has gone through there, and I don't know what, but certainly damage to that valve. And looking at our gasket, you can see it looks like it's blown through in quite a few places. On the head, on the block I should say, you can see where it's come out, and I'll show you that in a sec. So we've got these marks, which obviously I'd expect, we'll take this to a machine shop and get someone to professionally answer all these questions, but I'm guessing this is going to have to be resurfaced to make smooth again, to make it sealed properly. And we'll show you, you can certainly see, pull that up there, and if we put you can see, I'll point to it, here, there, down there. It was also up here and here. You can see it looks to me like that's where it's been leaking out water past the cylinders. We did grab a set of ARP head studs, one of those new fancy steel gaskets that we're going to put on. Obviously we're not going any further at the moment. We're probably going to have to contact someone, so we're doing our research to who.
It's a very sad day for Paddy.
Very sad day. So we've got everything apart, we've got shit all over the place, and we shall contact an engine builder and see what they've got to say. But
So this is a bit of a more raw video because we wanted to give you an update on where we're at, and probably from here now it's going to be a little while before we have another update on Paddy.
correct.
By the time we work some things out and get in contact with engine builders and etc, and go from there. So this is where we're at, and that's where Paddy's staying for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So we're down here at Donnelly's Engineering and we're picking up the head for Paddy. What was your name, sir?
I'm Zach.
Zach. So we've got Zach here.
Hi.
What was the process behind this?
So cylinder head come in, overheating issues and a few other bits and pieces. It's an aftermarket cylinder head, so we just did the basic sort of check overs, made sure it was straight, so it was a good casting to begin with. From then on, we then crack tested it, and then passes a crack test. Well, we cleaned it up, we crack tested it, and then we pressure tested it. So we run it through a machine up in the back there, runs a dye through it, shows any sort of internal cracks. Once it passes that sort of test, we can then begin the machine work. So what we did was we set it up in the surfacer. I sort of gave it a lick over the top. There's a certain amount you can and can't take, but being this cylinder head, with my checks and the stripping report, we noticed all these valve height sort of recessions were sitting a bit too high. They are an interference engine, so pistons and valves sort of can touch each other if this is not set up correctly.
Yeah, okay.
Now it's a bit sad because this was a brand new assembled cylinder head, so whoever's sort of supplied it hasn't done those thorough checks. I've gone into my sort of spec sheet and seen what it should be at, so I've serviced it accordingly, and then I've gone and recut each individual valve seat. I've machined all the valves and I've got them sitting at the specification that we sort of build our engines to in here. So yeah, once all that was done, reassembled it, new valve stem seals, yeah, it's good to go.
Awesome. So we'll be able to bolt that on, and yeah, he can do a few more
Happy days, ALP head studs, and
yes,
keep it locked down, hopefully don't overheat it, and
yeah, exactly
it's good
right.
to go.
Yeah,
This was one of the valves that did come out of it. It's got a bit of a chip in it, so something's probably gone through the intake, or who knows what's gone through there, but I'm not quite happy with that, so it's easy enough to change it out with a nice genuine valve and
yep.
on your way again.
Yeah, well, it's easier to do it now than once
Well, that's
it's all back
right, once
together.
it's all sort of apart, and do it once, do it right. So
Yeah, no,
that's
exactly
how we
right.
like to sort of do it, yeah.
No, so
Well, man, thanks for bringing it in.
Awesome, thank
So
you for
easy.
your help. Appreciate
Thank
it. If you need heads done for TDs, come see these
Yeah,
guys.
Southport, Gold Coast, Donnelly Engineering. We do all sorts, FTEs, TDs, 1HDTs, 1HZs, yeah.
The whole kit and
LSs,
caboodle.
barras, all sorts of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, right, okay, cool. No, cool, thank
No
you.
worries, appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys, we're back in the shed. We actually have a head back now, which is really, really good, back from Donnelly's Engineering. So now I've got to do a bit of thread chasing, clear up those threads. We have gone and bought, which you may have seen on the other videos, set of the ARP head studs. So these fellas there are going to go in. I did end up buying also a flat edge, so we could check the block deck, and that came up perfect. So thank Christ, all that heat that has gone through it while it overheated all those times didn't do any damage to that head. So that's good. That's sorry, the head to the block. So that's good. That's all looking nice. So again, you know, thread chase it. I'll probably rerun that flat edge over it again just to be sure, you know, double check it. I believe when these head studs go in, we've got to do a little bit of grinding, very, very slight, just to make sure those rockers, the bridges there, don't hit those studs. So it's just a little bit of a clean up there. We're going to do that as well. And then, yeah, start putting this head back on, tension it down. I think there's 3 stages to the tension. About 170 Newton meters is what we're going with, because we're going to be running somewhere around 20 pounds. The 190 Newton meters, which they can go to, I believe you need to torque hone your block with a torque down to 190, or else it, if you just bolt it down, it causes distortion. So we're not going to do that. We're not running that much boost. So yeah, so we're into this and get it happening. Checking liner heights. So we've actually got a Cood dial gauge, a bridge to sit up on top of the block deck, and we're putting obviously the gauge in here and checking those heights. Dial gauge just to check the liner heights. Again, a little bit awkward to get the camera down here and see it all, but anyway, it's just to give you a bit of an idea.
After checking all the sleeve protrusions with the dial gauge, they all returned within specification. And so Dad could move on to the next step, which involved modification of the rocker assembly.
Alright guys, just on the assembly of bits and pieces on the head here, and one of the things that I noticed on the internet was with the rockers, so the rockers over here, that when you put them back onto the head with the ARP studs, the 2 at either end apparently hit the rocker assembly, the legs on the rocker assembly. So in the instructions it mentions it as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit the rockers back on and have a look at this issue of them hitting there. So try drop that down. So if we come around, get in nice and close if I can for you, have a little bit of a look there, and you can see, all right, just here, in there, you can see the gapping, and you can see how it holds the legs up on both sides there. All right, so it's definitely going to need clearancing there. In the instructions, it actually says that it's the instructions that come with the head bolts, that is. So these guys here, it actually talks about that you can take up to 3.5 mil, move up to 3.5 mil if required. But looking at that, you start taking 3.5 mil and you're getting awfully close, you know, and taking a lot of the strength out of that. So I just looked at that and I thought, no, I just don't like it. Now, I have noticed there's a few videos on people building these things, and I noticed that they didn't actually have the washer down in there. So you can see the washer. I'll get in a bit closer if I can. You can see the washer just down in there. All right, so I'm sort of looking at theirs, and theirs hasn't got it, which started me thinking, I'll just move this rocker assembly back out of the way. Yeah, that if we take out the washer, drop that back in. Oh, let's sit that back on. Now we can see there, looking at that, we've still got a very minute, you can see it, just wobbling. It's just touching now. I've got the bolt nut pretty much, you know, as close as they can be to having all the threads through, but you can see we've still got rocking there. It still needs clearancing, but as you can imagine, now I'm probably looking at that, maybe a bit over a mil of clearancing to go through there. So yeah, obviously that's going to retain a lot of the strength that's in that rocker assembly. So I sort of feel like that washer doesn't need to be there for this particular part. Obviously the rest of them down along through here is not going to matter because we've got all that room, the clearance for the thing to go. So it's only the 2M ones. And I'm sort of feeling like that washer shouldn't be there. So a bit of Googling and so forth sort of said the same thing, leave the washer out. I'm not 100%, obviously I'm not an engine builder, but what I am thinking is to contact someone who knows more than me and confirm that before I go ahead and do it. But leaving that washer out looks like it's the smart thing to do to minimise the amount of meat that we're taking from there, and get that clearance. So that's the next step before I go any further, I think, is confirming that, and yeah, then we can go ahead and put the head on, finish putting the head together and put everything back together. So that's the next step, guys. Testing 1, 2. There it goes. Prick everything. All right, so we are just going to put in the glow plugs. I'm just putting a little bit of anti-seize onto each one, just so when we have to get them out again at a later date we don't have any issues, nothing worse.
Rigs on rigs, pedal to the metal, can't stop, only way is up. No turning around, no backing down on boost, lock it and roll.
So this afternoon, while Dad's still working on the motor, I'm going to go ahead and give this rocker cover a nice coat of paint, and we thought we'd change things up a little bit and paint it a colour. So Dad's chosen this nice deep blue. It's called a Tidal Blue from Toyota. I know using Toyota paint on a Nissan is not ideal, but it does look like a nice colour. So we're going to go ahead and lay it on, and it's either going to look really good or not so good. Only one way to find out.
Rigs on rigs, pedal to the metal, can't stop, only way is up. No turning around, no backing down on boost, lock it and roll, ready to go. metal. Can't stop, only way is up. No turn around, no backing down. On boost, lock it in low, ready to go. Rigs on rigs, pedal to the metal. Can't stop, only way is up. No turning around, no backing down. On boost, lock it.
Alrighty, so the rocker cover is now painted. I had to go ahead and fix this up here. Unfortunately, the tape took a bit of paint off, but that's okay. We hit it with a bit of hammer tone, which is the paint I wanted to use anyway. We just couldn't find it before. But how good does that look? So Dad wants to put a sticker on it as well. So we're going to just gone and design one, which we're going to go get made up, and we'll throw it on that rocker cover as well, and it's ready to go back on once we finish off assembly. So that's sort of the design there that we're thinking. There we go on there. So we'll go around town and see who can make us up a good sticker that we can put on there. And that's going to look awesome. And then, won't be long and the old girl will be back on the road.
Well, as you guys may or may not have worked out, Donnelly's confirmed for us that the whole issue really of what's gone down has been a lifted head. And that, of course, is probably happened due to me setting or leaving the boost tap too high. So we had it up obviously for the old turbo to give it a little bit extra boost, and we didn't turn it back down. New turbo's gone on, and she's over boosted, lifted the head, and blown through past the gasket. So that's what's gone wrong with it. So now the assembly starts, guys. What we're going to be doing there, because I've gone in and had a little bit of stitches done, so I'm not allowed to actually lift anything for the next 5 days. So we might actually get a local guy in just to fit up the head for us, that heavy lifting and that sort of thing. Get that part of it done with a mechanic, and that way we keep moving forward. At the end of this build series, we're going to do a Q&A, a cost breakdown. So if you guys have questions on what it's cost, anything that we did do and had to fix up, chuck some questions down for us, and we'll try and do a segment there where we answer all those for you. We'd just like to take a moment to thank all you guys for following along on the build, the disaster, whichever you want to call it, and all the comments you shared on the page. Really helpful. A lot of those tips were really good and useful to us. So don't forget, subscribe, like, and yeah, thanks guys. So now the assembly starts. Get it all back together, get all the parts in, and you guys can tune into the next episode, and you'll be able to see whether or not it actually bloody runs. We'd like to give a big shout out to Donnelly's Engineering. Those guys fix it really quickly. It was only like a week, a bit over a week. It was in and back out. And for picking up on the secondary issue that we had, which is the one that could have been pretty disastrous, which was the valves. The clearancing there on the valves wasn't correct on that new head. So that could have been a big problem. So they've picked that up and fixed it. So yeah, really happy with them. Done a fantastic job, and obviously replacing that valve that had damage. So
Thanks guys for watching, and let us know in the comments below, do you think Paddy will run?